Right folks, it's Thursday and Celtic are back in action tomorrow. But before we dive into match talk, let me take a wee detour today. I want to zoom in on one of the summer signings. A signing that's not officially been announced yet. But come on, it's more or less a done deal at this point. It might even be confirmed by the time you're watching this, so bear with me. We're talking about Hayato Inamura, the defender from Albirex Niigata, who's already been confirmed to be leaving his club. And all signs are pointing straight towards Celtic Park. So to get the inside track on the lad, I reached out to a proper expert in Japanese football, someone who's been studying these players for years, Ryo Nakagawara. He's a data analyst by day, but his real passion lies in analyzing Japanese footballers, writing scouting reports and breaking down exactly what makes these players tick. He's got this blog where he dives deep into the J-League and the young talent coming through, in his work on Inamura is top drawer. If you're curious, check out his site. It really gives you a clearer picture of who Inamura is as a player. Now, according to Ryo, even he was a bit surprised to see Inamura heading to Europe this early. And when you hear the story, it makes sense. The boy's only been a full-time professional for about 6 months. Before that, he was playing under a unique system the J-League's got, where university or high school players can get minutes for pro clubs while still technically being students. Last season, Inamura got proper game time at Niigata even though he was still at university, which says a lot about how highly they rated him. He played a big role in their league run, but more importantly, he featured in every minute of their League Cup campaign, helping the team all the way to the final even though they lost on penalties. And this season, in the 2025 campaign, he's been continuing that progress. So yes, technically he's only just turned pro, but he's not exactly new to the level either. It's a bit different from what we're used to here in Scotland, but over in Japan it's quite normal for talented lads to go through the university route before turning fully professional. It's part of their development pathway. Clubs often encourage it to let young players grow with regular minutes, rather than warming the bench in a full-time pro environment at 18. And when these players are ready, their old clubs usually bring them back in as pros. So Inamura followed that path, and now he's taking a massive leap over to Europe. There's been a bit of debate online about where he actually fits on the pitch. Some say he's a center back, others reckon he could be a left back, and a few even suggest he might play as a defensive midfielder. But based on what he's done at Niigata, it's clear he's primarily been a left-sided center back in a back four. He might have dabbled in other positions when he was younger, like many players do. But since going pro, he's been firmly planted in the heart of defense. So if you're expecting him to be a backup left back or a utility man, that might not be the case. It looks like Celtic see him as a center back first and foremost. Now, when it comes to what he brings to the table, there's plenty to get excited about. He's a calm operator on the ball, confident in the build-up, and always moving to create passing options. Ryo describes him as someone who's constantly supporting play. He passes, moves, gets open, and keeps things ticking. That's a crucial trait for any modern defender, especially in a team like Celtic that dominates possession. He doesn't rush things. He waits for the right openings, plays smart vertical passes between the lines, and he's also got a good knack for disguising his intentions, looking one way and pinging it the other. If you give him a bit of space, he's got the range to hurt you with long diagonal balls too. That's something we've been missing, someone who can really open up the pitch from deep. Another standout feature in his game is how he carries the ball. According to the data, he's in the top 4% of center backs when it comes to progressive carries. That's massive. He can take the ball out from the back, glide past the first line of pressure with a shimmy or a shoulder drop, and drive into midfield. That kind of confidence and mobility is a big asset, especially in tight games, where we need someone to break the lines and spark an attack. But let's keep it real, he's not the finished article. One of the major concerns, and something Ryo pointed out quite bluntly, is his aerial ability or lack thereof. The data doesn't lie, and his numbers in the air are not great. It's not just about losing duels either. Sometimes he's not even challenging, not jumping, or just being caught out of position. That kind of inexperience in defensive fundamentals is a red flag, particularly when you're coming into a more physical league like the Scottish Premiership. And that's the tricky bit, isn't it? We've seen it before with Yuki Kobayashi, another left-footed ball-playing defender who looked tidy on paper but struggled when it came to the rough handleable side of the game. Kobayashi often had a more physical partner beside him doing the dirty work while he handled the build-up and swept up behind. If Inamura is to succeed here, Celtic will need to manage him properly, give him a partner who can dominate in the air and let Inamura play to his strengths. Physically, he's not the tallest and he's not lightning quick either, but he's got decent athleticism. More importantly, he reads the game well. He's alert, he anticipates danger, and he's good at mopping up loose balls. That kind of awareness can go a long way, especially in games where positioning and decision-making matter more than raw pace. So the big question is, does he have the potential to be a top player? Can he grow into a Celtic starter, maybe even a Japan international down the line? According to Rio, absolutely. The talent's there, no doubt. But the timing is what makes this move so bold. Japanese players are being snapped up earlier and earlier these days, often before they've truly established themselves in the J-League. That's partly because European clubs now recognize the quality coming out of Japan. The reputation has changed drastically over the past decade. But it also means players like Inamura are taking big steps before they've fully matured in. That can be a gamble, and Inamura's probably got one eye on the national team as well. The Japan squad these days is packed with Europe-based players. Even the backups are all playing across the continent. So if you want to make that squad, you've got to be in Europe. It's as simple as that. Going to Celtic could be his way of putting himself on the radar, proving he can compete at a higher level. But again, expectations need to be managed. This isn't like when we signed Kyogo Hadid or Maeda. Those lads were tearing it up in the J-League before they came here. They were stars, top performers in their positions. Some even with international caps already. And Inamura, on the other hand, is still in the early stages. He's never been called up to the senior Japan squad, not even at youth level. He's got potential, yes, but he's not a finished product. And that's what makes this signing a bit different. It's not the type of ready-made instant impact player that we saw with our previous Japanese recruits. It's more of a project, a long-term bet. If we give him time, surround him with the right support, and let him grow at his own pace, he could turn into something special. But it's not going to be overnight, and fans need to be patient with him. Now here's where things start to get really interesting. Because when you step back and look at the bigger picture, it's not just about Inamura and what he brings as a player. It's also about what this transfer says regarding Celtic's recruitment strategy and how we approach the Japanese market these days. Just a few years ago, Celtic were scooping up the top-tier talent from the J-League, players who were already stars, already making noise, already being linked with the national team. Think Kyogo Hadid, Maeda, all lads who had proven themselves on the biggest stage domestically. Now with Inamura, we're shifting gears slightly. We're picking up someone who's still raw, still learning, still on that steep part of the development curve. And look, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a different approach. The Japanese market's changed. The secret's out, so to speak. European clubs all over the continent have woken up to the quality in Japan, and the top talents are now heading straight to the Bundesliga, to League One, to Belgium, even to mid-table La Liga sides. That means Celtic no longer have a free run at the best players in that league. So instead, we're looking for the next wave, the players who might not be stars yet, but could become them with the right coaching and environment. Inamura fits that profile to a T. He's not coming in to be the main man from day one. He's coming in with potential, with tools, and with the kind of mentality that can help him develop into a proper player. But it's going to take patience. We can't expect him to slot straight into the team and boss it like Van Dijk or Carter Vickers. There will be growing pains. There might be moments where he struggles with the pace or physicality, or where he makes the odd mistake. But that's all part of the journey. And let's not forget, Celtic have got a decent track record of turning rough gems into polished players. We've seen it before, young lads coming in under the radar, developing within our system, and then moving on to bigger things. That's part of the model. So if we're taking a similar approach with Inamura, then the key is giving him time. Let him adapt to the tempo, to the climate, to the different expectations. Let him learn the demands of playing for a club where winning isn't just a hope, it's a requirement every single week. Now Rio made another solid point about the kind of expectations fans should set for this signing. Unlike Kyogo or Hadid, Inamura hasn't had the same kind of national exposure. He's never been capped at any level for Japan. He's not coming in with a big name or a flashy highlight reel. But what he does have is a very specific set of skills that are increasingly valuable in modern football, especially the ability to play out from the back, to break lines, and to contribute to the attacking phase even as a defender. That alone makes him an interesting fit for Celtic, where we expect our center backs to do more than just hoof it clear and head away corners. Still, it's not all sunshine. We can't ignore the areas where he'll need to improve. We already talked about his aerial weakness, but it bears repeating that aspect of his game will be tested heavily in Scotland. There's no escaping it. Whether it's scrappy away days on a cold Wednesday night or big European clashes, where every set piece matters, he'll have to find ways to cope. Maybe that means bulking up a bit, maybe it's about positioning and timing, maybe it's just a confidence thing that'll come with experience. But if he wants to succeed here, he'll need to adapt. Simple as that. Another angle worth mentioning is the partnership he'll be forming. If Celtic pair him with a more dominant center back, someone strong in the air, aggressive in duels, then Inamura's game could flourish. He wouldn't need to be the enforcer. He could play to his strengths, use his intelligence and technique and complement his partner, rather than trying to do it all himself. That's crucial. The context of who plays beside him could make or break his transition into the team. And then there's the tactical side. Brendan Rodgers or whoever's in the dugout long-term needs to be clear about how to use him. If we're asking him to play high up the pitch, squeeze the lines, and contribute to the build-up, that's great. That's what he's good at. But if we're expecting him to deal with an endless barrage of long balls and high crosses without the right support, then we're setting him up to fail. It's all about using the player wisely. Rio also touched on the mentality of young Japanese players going abroad so early. It's a growing trend, and it shows that they're more ambitious and more confident than ever before. But it also means they're stepping out of their comfort zones faster than in the past. For Inamura, leaving Niigata after half a season as a full pro and heading to Europe is a massive leap. It speaks volumes about his self-belief, but it also shows the shift in how Japanese football is evolving. The days of waiting until you're 24 or 25 to make the jump are gone. Now, if you show enough promise, you're on the move by 21 or 20 to sometimes even earlier. And while Celtic aren't alone in scouting Japan, they do have an edge thanks to the success of previous signings. Players see how Kyogo has flourished, how Hadit became a fan favorite, how Maeda runs his heart out every week, and they believe they can follow in those footsteps. That reputation helps. It gives us a foothold in that market that other clubs don't have. But it also raises expectations. And as Rio pointed out, Inamura is not at the same level those lads were when they joined. So the fans, the club, and the coaching staff all need to understand that this is a longer-term investment. Interestingly, near the end of our chat, Rio also mentioned another player linked with Celtic, Shun Yamada from Kawasaki Frontal. Now that's a different type of player altogether, a proper fox in the box. Short, quick, and brilliant at finding space in the penalty area. Maybe not the best jumper, but his heading technique and positional awareness are top class. He thrives off movement and being in the right place at the right time. That kind of striker is ideal for a team like Celtic, where we expect to create chance after chance every week. But apparently his form this season hasn't quite matched the heights of last year. Still, he's getting into the right areas, just not converting at the same rate. That kind of slump can happen to any forward, but the signs are there that he's still doing the basics right. If that deal moves forward, it'll be worth keeping an eye on. But for now, the spotlight is firmly on Hayato Inamura, a young technical ball-playing center back with bags of potential stepping into a new world and a new challenge. It's not a guaranteed success, but it's certainly a bold move from both the player and the club. Celtic are taking a punt on potential, and Inamura is betting on himself. If it clicks, we could be looking at the next in a growing line of Japanese success stories in Glasgow's East End. But if it doesn't, we need to remember the context. This is a lad still learning the ropes, still finding his way in the game. Give him the support, the guidance, and the time, and who knows how far he can go. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. There's a bit of chatter around the Scottish footballing circles this week, and it's coming from none other than Parkhead. Word on the street is that Lennon Miller, the promising young midfielder from Motherwell, could be swapping the claret and amber for the green and white hoops of Celtic, and sooner rather than later. Now, nothing's been made official yet, of course, but sources close to both clubs are whispering that the 17-year-old Dynamo might be heading east to become the new heart of the Celtic midfield. Fans have long admired his composure, passing range, and that rare blend of grit and guile. Not bad for a lad who only just got his first taste of senior football last season. Celtic, in their quest to refresh the midfield engine room following some key departures and injuries, appear to have set their sights on the Motherwell prodigy. And truth be told, it's not the first time Miller has caught the eye of the big guns. Scouts from across Britain have reportedly been trailing him for months, but it seems the Hoops might be making the first serious move, while no fee has been mentioned. Rumor has it that Motherwell are resigned to the idea of losing their young star, and a deal in the region of £1.50 to £2 million is being floated. Add-ons and future clauses would likely be part of the conversation too, especially given the player's high ceiling. If it comes to pass, Miller's move could mirror that of other Scottish youngsters who've made the leap to Celtic and blossomed under the pressure of paradise. He'd be walking into a squad with Champions League ambitions and the weight of 60,000 expectant supporters, not to mention the fierce competition for a starting spot. Still, for now, it remains a rumor, a tantalizing whisper that Lennon Miller, the pride of Fir Park, could soon be pulling the strings at Celtic Park, as ever, in Scottish football. Only time will tell, but don't be surprised if the next time you hear his name, it's coming from the lips of a Celtic fan chanting in full voice. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.